If you work for a technology company and get RSUs as part of your compensation package, then this video is for you. I will be explaining exactly what RSUs are, restricted stock units. I will be talking about the tax treatment of RSUs, and I will be sharing the strategy that we often use for our clients when dealing with RSUs. So let's get right down to it. What exactly are RSUs? Well, they are a form of equity compensation that's really popular among technology companies like Google, Facebook, Adobe, Oracle, Logitech. They're essentially company stock that you get over time, and it's going to depend on the contract that they give you. So for example, if you work for Google, let's say they might give you an RSU contract where you might be awarded 40 Google shares that will vest over 2 years. So that's essentially receiving 5 Google shares every 3 months. So if the price of Google, let's say, increases to $2,000 per share by the time it vests, so 5 times $2,000, you essentially might get $10,000 worth of company stock each quarter, and that's like $40,000 a year. So that's a considerable sum of money. What is the tax treatment for RSUs? RSUs are essentially taxable income. So there's really no way around it. You have to pay federal and state taxes when relevant. So you just want to make sure you check your pay stub to make sure that your employer is withholding the sufficient amount of federal and state taxes from these RSUs. RSU strategy. So here's the thing. If you just sit back and do nothing and work for a company for a really long time, you might end up accumulating hundreds of thousands of dollars worth in company stock. So we have a client here at District Capital where when we met her, she had like $800,000 worth of money all in one stock. Now, you might say, wow, Alvin, that's really amazing. You've managed to, or she has managed to accumulate that much money over time. Well, it is, but you also are holding that amount of money all in one stock. And that, I think, in my opinion, is super risky because you'll never know what might happen to a company. It might be great now, but what if there's an accounting scandal in the future? Or what if it goes bankrupt because of the pandemic? Look at General Electric or GE. It was considered a safe stock until it wasn't, and now it's trading at a fourth of its value 4 years ago. So one way to lower the risk is to sell your RSU shares or company stock shares that you receive as soon as it vests, and invest them in a diversified basket of stocks or bonds. So diversification is really a key component when thinking about investments. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, Alvin, it's going to be really hard for me to get rid of these Google shares. I've only seen them go up over time and I've sort of fallen in love with these shares. But ask yourself, if you have $50,000 worth of money to invest now, would you actually place it all in just one stock? So just think about that. So that's it, my friends. I hope you learned something about RSUs. They're essentially stock compensation, and it is taxable. So you want to make sure your employer is withholding the correct amount of federal and state taxes. And just think about risk management when dealing with these RSUs. If you do have an RSU, your company might also be offering an ESPP program or an employee stock purchase program. So you want to make sure you check out our videos on ESPP and whether or not you should participate in that. Until next time.